5 minutes is all I have to solve these 5 metal puzzles. You don't want to know what happens if I fail. As you can see, the timer's already going. So let's meet the first puzzle. By the way, this is a constant shot, so I put the video just in the bottom corner. And as you can see, I'm currently struggling with puzzle number 1, which is the cast radix. It's a level 5, and it was released in 2005, which makes it 19 years old. This puzzle can look simple as it's just 3 pieces, but this couldn't be further from the truth. When you disconnect the 2 pieces, which we've done here, we then loop the end through twice to remove it. And if you think the disassembly is hard, just wait till you see the assembly. 33 seconds in, and the first half of this one is done. The reassembly should be faster, right? This is that double loop I mentioned. It loops over, it goes through, and then over again. And while that's finishing, next up is one of the hardest Hanayama puzzles, the cast trinity. It's a level 6 and is 7 years old. This puzzle is considered a grandmaster puzzle, and it has this part in it where the pieces fit through each other so seamlessly. My favorite part of sliding the one piece over the other marks the end of the reassembly. Now it just needs to be stood up. So that means puzzle 1, minute 1, and getting right into the cast trinity. This is a grandmaster puzzle, and there are a series of moves to make that all go into each other, so let's hope I don't mess it up. At first, it may look like this puzzle is simple, as there is not a lot of room for movement, but to get it started, 2 pieces need to go through each other, which is the part I'm struggling with, and after that, everything lines up vertically. And here, we're going to slide that bottom piece up and through, and then we're actually going to stick it to the right to allow this other piece to sneak out and go back through it. This is a level 6 puzzle, so sometimes these pieces can be sticky. And this is the part where the perfect alignment happens. So these 2 pieces fit perfectly together, and that third one has a bump in it, which allows us to slide them right over. Now all that's left is to separate 3 pieces from each other. And when it comes to reassembly, if you don't remember which ones are oriented in which way and which order they go in, it's a lot more challenging. That puts the timer at 2 minutes, with a second only half done. There's the first piece, and there is the second. What a great time to introduce the third puzzle, the cast flag. Now this one comes in at a level 1, but don't underestimate it. It's a brass puzzle, and those can be very tricky. Back to the trinity. My favorite part is when these pieces twist together perfectly over that dip in the piece sticking out to the right. The only thing left now is to put all of them vertically and twist them back together. And we're about halfway done with 3 more remaining. And just like that, the grandmaster puzzle, the cast trinity, is done. On to puzzle 3, which is the cast flag, which by the way was made in 1994, which puts its age at 30 years old. Wow. Now the goal here is to separate that middle flag out of its holder. It is quite tricky because it splits in half, and you need to accommodate both halves in order to have them meet up to remove them. This is that sticky brass I was talking about. And there we go. Officially half the puzzle's done, with only 2 minutes remain. Puzzle 4 is the cast baroque, one of my personal favorites. I'll say why in a moment. Released in 2003 means it's 21 years old, and it comes in at a level 4. As we finished up the cast flag, we'll begin the most beautiful cast baroque. At first glance, it looks quite easy since the pieces are barely touching each other, but it is just enough to make sure you don't solve this puzzle easily. The problem with doing so many puzzles at one time is sometimes you forget what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing right now. Once you skip the first piece over, it gives you a false glimmer of hope, as it is so close, but it still doesn't come about. We need to lift in the opposite direction. Oops. Right after this piece goes over, we're going to see the most beautiful move of this puzzle. Flip it, put it in, sit there and ponder for a second. Hop it over, pull it apart. It fits so nicely. Halfway done with the cast baroque, with close to 1 minute remaining. Just enough time for puzzle 5, the cast O gear. This award-winning puzzle comes in at a level 3 and is 22 years old. For every chance you try to remove it, you only put it back in. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But just like that, the last puzzle. 47 seconds left for the award-winning cast O gear. The concept here is to remove the gear from the box, but it has a very specific orientation and direction, and it can be difficult to do if you make any mistakes. Half is done with 33 seconds to go. The cast radix, the cast trinity, the cast flag, the cast baroque, and can it be the cast O gear all under 5 minutes? We're going to find out pretty quickly if I've messed this one up or not. If I messed it up, it's going to have to go all the way back to the other side. With 18 seconds to spare, that means a success. I'd like to thank you for watching and really hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to give it a like if you like puzzles and subscribe so I can buy a new mic. And then this video needs to be exactly 5 minutes long, so here's a fake explosion. And hope you